Hey everyone, and welcome back. This is No Regrets. Georgie creates a school project about Briar Ridge owner and Jesse and Ashley's mom, Val Stanton, and becomes inspired to take a risk with Adam. So, we're gonna have Val Stanton back. I wonder if we'll see Jesse again, but I don't believe we see Ashley. So it's kind of interesting that Val Stanton was gone for a few years and is now back. Kind of makes you wonder what's up with that. And then it says inspired to take a risk with Adam. So does that mean romantically or a different type of risk, like a risk on going and doing a project or something? I'm guessing it means romantically, but I don't know if Adam is going to be receptive because I haven't really seen anything on his end about it, unlike Steven. So we'll see how that works. And, last episode didn't have Lou in it because she was off on her trip, which she had said in the episode prior to that she was going on to New York, going on a trip to New York to catch up with some girlfriends. Which it seems kind of unusual for Lou to do that without the girls because she's been so girls. So it's kind of unusual that she's doing it by herself. But I think it's good. Anyone who is a parent knows that you're supposed to have time away from your kids. It's good, it's healthy to have that. So that could end up being a really good thing for Lou, is to have some time away. And plus, like I said, it's not like the kids don't have anyone. I mean, there's Jack, there's Lisa, there's Amy, all of them are looking after Georgie and Katie. So, it's not like they were left with strangers or anything. And the kids will be cool, and I'm sure that while she's gone, they still probably FaceTime and text and whatnot. Let's get started. Jack and Buddy. Mitch. That's Mitch, isn't it? That's a good point.
My philosophy has always been go big or go home.
She's writing that down.
How long have you had Maverick?
Years. Unless there's something else you want to talk about.
No?
Okay. Hold on a second. I gotta ask Caleb something. Will you wait for me?
Okay.
I thought that Adam wasn't interested, but maybe I'm wrong. And Val, I would just be like, Val, just shut up. But the whole thing about abandonment issues, I'd be like, just because you haven't seen it, Val, doesn't mean it doesn't exist. And I am the expert, so maybe you need to just button it. And then she was talking there about, with the, whatever it was with the juniper berries sounded kind of good, whatever Lisa was doing. And I said venison stew. It's funny because it seems like people always drop by for dinner, whether it's like Tim or Casey or Janice or in this Val and whatnot. And it's like, these guys must always cook a lot for extra people. Because it's like they always somehow have extra, Because most houses, I would think, depending, of course, on what you make. Like if you make lasagna, there's probably going to be leftovers, even if you have a family of 4 or 5. Maybe not, but there might be some left over for the next day. But with some families, you're not going to have leftovers. They're going to make food for the exact number. There might be enough for seconds for that exact number, but there's not going to be leftovers. So it seems like these guys always have enough food. Like they always seem to make a lot. Because, Tim even mentioned to Adam and he said, have a seat. There's plenty of stew. And I'm just thinking like, what if there wasn't, What if someone stopped by and they said, oh, we really don't have that much? Person, have a hamburger or something frozen, pull out a frozen pizza or something. Wouldn't that be kind of realistic, or am I completely off?
Like you wouldn't keep it to yourself? Sorry, I didn't mean to put you on the spot.
Is there something you want to talk about?
Still obviously needs some work. Maybe he's got an injury. I mean, have they finished the blood work and gotten all that done? Because maybe when she jumped up, maybe it had something to do with that, And I get it, when women are pregnant, people kind of cater to them, but at the same time, like, she's not broken. And even if she was pregnant, she could still do some things, Like, I know she gets pregnant at the end of the season because I've seen stuff about it, which is unfortunate. So I'm guessing at the end of season 10 is when she has the baby. To be honest, I wish that they could have waited a little longer, because it's kind of a lot like what happened with Lou. She got married at the end of season 3, and I think pretty much by the end of season 4, she was either pregnant or having Katie. So, I know I said in the last video about being child-free, and I like that they were showing Cassie not as happy about her results. But even with this, like, Ty and Amy haven't been married that long. They're still in the honeymoon phase. And I think on shows, not just this, but shows in general, when a couple gets married, even if they want to start a family, it seems like they always jump the gun and have them get pregnant pretty much like right away. And I'm thinking sometimes that happens, but sometimes it doesn't. And it would be nice if maybe like these guys got married at the end of season 8. Maybe she wouldn't have gotten pregnant until season 12 or 13. Where they have a few years of being married. Because if I had decided that I wanted kids, the way I would have done it is I would have wanted a long engagement. I would have wanted like 2 years to be engaged. And then after getting married, I would have wanted 5 years married before bringing in kids. Which is another sign right there that I really didn't want kids. But I wanted to have that 5 years to have with him. Because, of course, when people have kids, it changes everything. And you don't really get time to yourself. And I think that's, unfortunately, one reason why Lou and Peter fell apart. And so, for me, yeah, had we decided that we were going to have kids, I would have been like, you know what, let's at least give ourselves 5 years. 5 years to have time with each other, go places, travel, and then we'll see. But I just think on these shows that they kind of jump the gun a little bit. No, they're fine right there, Jack. So Cassie had a false alarm. Now she's either lying or it was false alarm, which it probably was. And yeah, you can have false positives. You can have false negatives too, which is why you always want to check. But depending on how hormones are, things like that, yeah, you can have a false positive. Which is probably one reason why Cassie wasn't exactly excited, because I think a part of her knew that it wasn't legit. But, I like how Amy told Ty and said, you would be the first to know, which is really how it should be. And I know some people want to make it a surprise and everything, but sometimes that doesn't work out. Sometimes you just need to tell them. And, Jack hovering over them. Of course. And I'm like, it doesn't happen then, and it could happen at school or some other place, so you can't monitor them 24/7, even if you think you can. Maverick! He wants to go with. He's saying, no, dude, you ain't doing this to me again. Yeah, Maverick's like, you ain't doing this to me again. I don't blame him. He's a good boy. And said he's going to go up north, and I'm like, great, so you're going to abandon him again. So all the progress you just made is going to go out the window. And, he talked about them having the space, and I'm thinking, do they though? Is Maverick going to kind of become like a trail riding horse? How's that going to work?
There is one thing I still haven't figured out. She told this story about having regrets. She fell for this guy after her husband passed away. But I still haven't figured out who he was. She called him Mr. X. What?
Look. Oh, come on. Now Stan's been crazy about him for years and still is.
Wait, Jack, you're Mr. X.
Not when I had the chance.
It's fine. I'm surprised.
Aww. Do you remember our first kiss?
Uh-huh.
No, I don't.
Me too.
It wasn't right here, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And you said something like, talking's overrated, I think you said.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
She's in a good mood now because she did it. I like how Adam smiled. I like how Georgie was in a good mood there at the end. And it was funny because she did it and Adam's like, what was that? But then when she explained it, he seemed kind of cool with it. And, I like how Amy was saying that she and Ty need to wait a bit, which is, I'd say, pretty much accurate, that they kind of do. But the thing is, it seems like for people, if they wait, then it never happens. And I don't mean that like if they wait until they're in a place, like financially, mentally, emotionally, it never happens because there's always something that happens. And unfortunately, a lot of times, people get pregnant under circumstances, Like maybe they wanted to wait, but then a baby comes along. For those of us who chose to be child-free, we of course have made a conscious decision about it. So, you know, for me, I see it as like, you guys could make another choice, or, you know, he was saying like, oh, I really want to have kids. And I'm like, do you? Have you really thought about all of it? I mean, you're going to have to share Amy. And Amy's going to have to share Ty, but mainly you're going to have to share Amy. And there's just going to be a whole world of problems that comes along with that. And what if they end up like Lou and Peter? So, I think a lot of times people should sit down and think about it more and discuss if it is something they really want. And I do wish that they would promote that more in TV. Again, they kind of show like, if you are someone who doesn't have kids, they kind of portray you as like bad or evil. And I wish that in shows they would not do that. That they would show it as a viable option. They kind of did that a little bit with Lisa, because Lisa didn't have kids. But then Lou was still kind of insulting her for not having kids. And now she's a godmother, so she's able to spoil Katie. But of course, she didn't have any of her own. So Lisa is a positive influence. But it would be nice to see a little more, like maybe as Georgie gets older, maybe she would say, you know what, I don't want to have kids, and have everyone at Heartland be like, that's cool, you know, live your life. I think that we do need more positive images of child-free people. As I said in the last video, if we're going to talk about representation with things, then we need to include that. I mean, obviously I knew when I started this show that Amy and Ty have a kid. I mean, it's here on the cover. You know, you see the two of them with their daughter. So, obviously I knew that when I started the show. But it's kind of like, you have Katie right now, and technically you have Georgie, even though Georgie's a teen. But you have Katie, who's the little one. And in another year or so, another season or so, there's going to be a second child. And it's going to make things at Heartland a lot crazier. And of course, there'll be other adventures to tell and stories to tell. But it does make you wonder, like, if Amy and Ty would have made the decision that they didn't want to have kids, would that be the right decision? How would that affect their business? Just something to think about. Something that I wish we would see more of, are positive, child-free people, you know, in media. So let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Hit the like button and subscribe for more content. And hit that notification bell to be alerted of future reactions. I'll see you next time. Bye.